Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats, dogs, goldfish, hamster wheels, and reptiles. You are now tuned in to the Wrestling Podcast live from the Memphis Sports and Event Center. It is 808s and Chest Shots. I am your host, Jeff, joined as always by Nick the Giant and the EST of the library, the lovely Wakanda Lisa Rice. But before we go any further, Nick, I believe you have a special introduction / announcement for our viewers and listeners.
First of all, I just like to acknowledge that you updated yourself on the arena facilities around here in Memphis. That is kudos.
You know what I'm saying? I could have said the Memphis Sportatorium or some shit like that.
Could have made some stuff up. You could have. Okay. All right. So from the beginning of this podcast, it's been me and Jeff.
Oof.
It's been from episode 1 to damn near 20. It was rough.
Mm-hmm.
We were trying to figure shit out. We were trying to figure out what was going to work for us. Some things worked, some things didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Cut some things, added some things, but
yeah,
we kept on rumbling. And then one day I issued out, hey, we need somebody to join the show for a special episode. Mm-hmm. Somebody pointed to a particular young lady, and I was like, hey, let me invite her on the show. Invited her on the show, and since then it's been like, oh yeah, she knows her stuff. She's cool. Let's invite her back again.
Yeah.
She does her thing. And me and Jeff on April 7th got to talking. And Jeff was like, hey, you think Andrea would want to join? I'm like, I don't know. Andrea might be busy doing her own thing. Yeah. So she officially joined that next day on April 8th, 2023. Yeah. So in other words, she's been here for 2 years, and we're very grateful for her. Very grateful. Now, one day I called James because James said, yo, you got the podcast. I need to get something on my chest. I need to get something on my chest.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
I said, all right, James. I let James on. And James has been a vital source of pain for me. But that's my dog. I trust him. He has his outtakes might be a little crazy, but that's my guy. And then Rico was like, yo, I need to get on the pod too. First of all, we don't allow family men on the pod. That was my thing.
Exception to the rule.
Exception to the rule. And he dons the name of Rico Benoit now.
I'm gonna be real. We might, as we go forward, we might have to go back and revisit Rico Benoit. Because as we grow, that's gonna be a tough sell. But it just felt it was organic though. It was organic.
It was organic as hell.
My bad, Nick.
And adding him on, we had a couple of shows with James, and we felt these shows went smooth.
Yeah.
There was no problems.
Yeah.
And when all 5 of us got together, it was just organic and it worked.
Yeah.
And then one day on May 28th, I asked, after the show, the last show, I asked, would it be interesting in having Rico and James join the faction? Yeah. Without a problem, both said yes. And as you can see now, we're no longer 2, we're no longer 3, we're now 5. If you can add. So I would like for everybody to welcome Rico Benoit.
And the negative one.
I'm sorry, bro.
The negative one, Sonny J.
Thanks for having
officially.
me.
Shout out to y'all.
Officially to the
we
show.
have people.
Officially to the show.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
Nah,
Thank
to
y'all
be completely transparent, it was a no-brainer. Like I had a couple of the homies hit me. Y'all weren't on the episode. It's like, hey, I love the 3 of y'all, but where the homies at though? Where Rico and James? Where Rico and James at? I said, yeah, and I told the homie, I said, it does work, right? Like it actually seemed like this is how it should be, right? So yeah, when Nick brought that up, because I said it on the show, like it's like, we had people asking about y'all, whatever. And then Nick was like, yeah, after we had post-production, he brought that up. So man, it just makes sense. Like, just like it made sense when Andrea came on, she killed it on her first show. And she came back for another review show. She killed it again. It was like, it just makes sense, man. Just a few homies talking about wrestling, man. So appreciate y'all for joining us. Y'all got anything to say to the people before we get started? This should be fun.
Rico, you can go. I mean,
Hey, I like the Rico Benoit. I want to change the stigma from it, but like you said, if I'd have had a couple of people be like, "Hey, man, you really want to go with Rico Benoit?" I was like, "Hey,
the stigma though."
Hey,
Hold
I could be, I could be the good family man, you know."
I was just gonna say, like, you a fam, all about the family, you know?
Yeah.
Shit.
But
change what you think of when you hear Benoit. You know, you could think of me instead of what he did.
He's a family annihilator. You are a family appreciator.
See? Look at that, Nick. Look at that.
That's why she's the EST of the library right there.
Family
That's exactly
appreciator. I like that.
That's it. -1. What you got for me, brother?
I appreciate it. I appreciate the love. And every time I get asked to be on, because as you said, the streets are asking, I'm like, wow, people are asking for me to come back of all people. But hey, I appreciate it. Support it. I love being here. I love doing this.
Yeah, man.
And now that I'm full time, I mean, let's make the best of it.
There it is, man. So nothing's changing. Same fun, same, what we do. Just homies talking about wrestling. We're gonna continue growing. Thank y'all for listening. Thanks for the input. We like Triple H. We listen to the people and do the right thing and bring the right people back.
We jumping straight into that?
Yeah, we do. What's up, Nick? What's up?
After this short break, we'll jump into it. Hold on.
All right. I got it. And we're back. A little bit of technical difficulties, but we're here now. All right, man, let's get going with the show. Before we do that, make sure you follow us, 808s and Chair Shots on the Instagram and the Facebook and the threads. 808s Chair Shots on the Twitter. We do not use the slave name X, even though Elon is bombing on homeboy right now. So I don't know what side he on. So we're gonna figure that out. But no, on the Twitter is 808s Chair Shots. We're building the community each and every social media platform we are. So thank y'all for that. All right. Got the particulars out of the way. Let's get going with the show, y'all. Money in the Bank happened.
It did.
It happened. It happened.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this simple. Who wants to give a couple of highlights from the show? Andrew, we'll start with you.
No, don't start with me.
Oh, shit, you like me. Okay, cool. All right.
Let's go, -1. For a second. I told you it took me 3 tries to watch it. I just need to think for a second.
Somebody got some explaining to do, but yeah, we'll talk about it. So I guess I'll go first with it. So Money in the Bank, again, I really wasn't, I only been hyped about the Money in the Bank matches. Anything in between there, when we're looking forward to. Mm-hmm. But as my boy said, Pentagon, Octagon, Dirty Dom, it don't matter. Greatest of all time.
Oh my God.
All right. Greatest of all time. And
okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. I wasn't excited for the tag match because, again, while these titles not being defended, at least Jay should have defended against somebody. But he's in a tag match. And we kind of already seen who's going to win the men's Money in the Bank. Women's was kind of up in the air. So, but other than that, really wasn't too hyped for it. So I'll pass it to whoever got next.
Rico,
go now.
You got it? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So you said some highlights.
Yeah.
Okay. Go in the order I remember them. Okay. So I told y'all it took me 3 times. I told y'all this in the group chat. It took me 3 separate tries.
Yeah.
Well, 4, sort of. Depends on how you want to look at that. Because I was watching it before I left the house, but I only saw the entrances to the women's match. Okay. But no, I was at a friend's party and she had it going in her bedroom after the fact. So that's why I wasn't involved in the group chat. Also, I was like 3 different types of crossfaded. That's a story for another. So like, not only am I delayed watching it, I'm also like all different types of euphoric and discombobulated and just feeling really good,
This is a good
you
night.
Feel me?
Yes.
Good night.
So like I'm watching it and like everything is registering, but it's not really registering. So I make it home, get home at like 4:00 in the morning. I try to watch it then.
All right.
Got home at 4 a.m., tried to watch it then, fell straight asleep. Woke up, was hungover. I ate steak with my bare hands and I watched it then. And I felt like for what it was solid, but I do think it could have been a better pay-per-view. Some highlights for me, now that that's all out the way. A highlight for me is Andrade, just in general. Both him and Penta. Oh, and Solo. Solo is just hilarious. I feel Solo's a hilarious person, just generally. Like with the way he was mocking everybody in the ring, in the match. Yeah, I thought that was funny. That was a highlight. But Andrade just in the ring, I feel like he's a human highlight reel. I don't feel like he gets his just due. And then another highlight for me was Naomi winning. That wasn't on the docket, surprisingly. But no, I'm very glad she won. I'm glad Big E was there to give her flowers. It's 2025 and we're still having first black whatever in the WWE. But hey, it has to be somebody. Yep. And I'm glad it's Naomi. I'm excited to see what she does with that. And yeah, that's about it for me for Money in the Bank.
Nick?
All right, Naomi winning, positive. The Weekend solo, another positive. Mocking people. Let's see. Jacob finally putting the "I hate you" on there, like a angry white kid not getting a piece of rose. Let me see. That's another one. Andrade was very good in that match too. I was shocked, but yeah, the women's match lasted longer than I thought. I'll give them that. Logan Paul getting hurt, I wasn't expecting that one. But he did his usual, flip off something. Yeah, cool. Okay, great.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, he's going to do that. And yeah, that was it.
Rico?
I'm going to go with Naomi winning. Of course, that was starting to show off good highlight. Like Andrea said, first black woman winning. That was dope. Jacob turning finally. That was dope. Finally. I like the way he came out and did that. Braun Breaker with another spear highlight. That was dope. Like Nick said, the Logan moonsault was dope, man. Like that was like one of the best moves I seen the whole night. Like it's kind of crazy, but that was dope. And Ron Killer's coming back, like him coming through, like the way they did it. I was like, who the hell jumped in all black? You know what I'm saying? The way they presented it was dope. So I would say those were the highlights of the night for me.
Yeah. We definitely gonna talk about Mr. Killings coming back, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? We gonna talk about that in a minute. That was dope. Highlight, you guys touched on it, and of course Naomi. Even the after show with Naomi, like Andrea said, at Big E, like being able to do that, man, that was dope. The women's match was definitely long, like Nick said, longer than I expected. It was a good match though.
It was.
Everything else was kind of status quo, other than now Jacob Fatu. They went the other way with that. I thought Jacob was going to be the face after that turn, but guess not. So we're going to see what face Solo Sikoa is going to look like. So we'll figure that out. SmackDown will be in Nashville in about 2 weeks. So I guess I'll be able to see that live and see how that plays out. But yeah, man, it was cool. Any low lights of the show from anybody? Low lights.
Negative one, go.
Look.
Low lights, to the tag match, the main event, I guess. Again, I wasn't excited. Yeah, I wasn't excited for it.
Okay.
You know, and I'm just like, okay, why these two champions in a tag match? I'm really wasn't expecting John Cena to defend at Money in the Bank, but at least Jay, at least. But again, you know, he was in a tag match. Okay, cool. You know, it was a low light until Ron Killing showed up. Other than that, everybody was hyped about that. It was good. Plus, Logan Paul messed up on the buckshot lariat. Hangman would never. But you know, we'll leave that at that.
I wasn't too mad at the tag match because I feel like you got to be a little creative with how you keep bringing your champions out there. They can't, singles matches. There's only so many feuds they can have before they get stale, right? So I get it, but I feel what you're saying though, James. It was a little bit of overkill, but I wasn't too mad at it though. Any other low lights for anybody else?
Yeah, these sponsorships got to go.
There we go. I wanted somebody to take
sponsorships got to go. I'm sorry. I understand it. It's free publicity. It helps them out, but a Slim Jim ladder?
Yeah, it was Fireball ladder.
Fireball.
I mean, Fireball
Tables.
ladder.
Yeah.
It was a
Slim
Slim
Jim
Jim table
tables.
on Friday.
The Cash App, Money in the Bank.
I'm here for it.
7 of turnbuckles.
I'm here for it. I'm on the other side of y'all. Let me be negative James for a moment. With my, let me do this. I guess it would be me with my business mindset working in finance. I feel like professional wrestling is the only sporting or industry where people forget the goal is to make money. Like it's a business and the goal is to make money. And I guess we got accustomed to Vince never doing stuff like this. Like he would never incorporate ads or these different streams of revenues. But in a new age, and especially getting wrestling to a mainstream level where it's not considered taboo and weirdos on it like wrestling, I like it. I feel like it broadens the horizon. It gets different exposure. It gets people looking at, talking about your product who probably never would. So I'm all for it, man. But put all the ads like New Japan Wrestling, man. Put all of them on there.
Okay, so Rico, like with that being said, it seemed like it is overkill at this point.
That's it.
Because in the middle, you have like the Prime logo or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then top left, you have where are they going to next? Saudi Arabia?
Mm-hmm.
But see, it don't bother. Does that take away from the ring action to you? I don't even look at it really.
It's a little distracting when you have like multiple logos. Again, that's what I was about. Okay, so starting top left, you have like the Saudi Arabia logo or wherever they going to next.
Mm-hmm.
Then left middle, it'll be 7-Eleven or something.
Mm-hmm.
Then left bottom, it'll be Slim Jim. Like it's like too many logos in the ring at one point to where at the point it looked like it's like 9 logos in the ring, 9 or 10 logos advertising. You know what I mean? It seemed like too much.
Hey.
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled a chair out from under the ring and it has an OF logo on it.
Hey, bring in the money.
OF logo, really?
You went too far there with nigga.
Would you be surprised?
Yeah,
Nah.
I would be.
OF, yeah, OF.
I'd be really surprised at that one, especially with like the motto of TKO. They still are like a public trade company, so I don't think they'll do nothing like that.
So
hey, you heard it here first.
That's my low light.
It happens.
That's my low light. Is TKO the company bought is the umbrella UFC WWE all under the same umbrella, right? They are. I feel like WWE is conforming to UFC TKO ways, and they aren't bringing in. They aren't conforming to WWE way. Well, I mean, it is what it is, right? A partnership is a give and take, like you said, Rico, in finance or in business. Period. A partnership should be give and take. But there is always someone who's going to have a 51% share and a 49% share just to make it even. So I get that, but this isn't 51-49. This is like WWE is taking on the advertising way of doing things like TKO, and even on Saturday, they're servicing as the lead-in to a UFC pay-per-view. Like WWE is starting an hour earlier now to lead into UFC pay-per-view because UFC revenue-wise is down, and they're using WWE to feed into it. Like that's the truth, right? So to me, the advertising, it's funny because we all grew up, with Vince in some type of way, like Vince's way of doing things, WCW way of doing things. The ring was sacred. Once they put the Prime logo on the ring, it was like, we do whatever now. We got Real American Beer. We got whatever going on at this point. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. It was at the point when it was like, okay, a Slim Jim table and a Fireball ladder was a lot. It's a lot. AEW don't even do it like that. And they advertise every day.
I got a question.
What up, though?
Would y'all prefer the way they're doing sponsors now with them all around the ring and on weapons and objects and whatnot? Would y'all prefer this to what they were doing in the past with the sponsored matches where like the whole ring, those the LED screens? Think it was a Cinnamon Toast Crunch match at WrestleMania that people were complaining about, that they said it looked childish and tacky. Would y'all prefer that to this? Because I don't disagree with what Rico said. I just feel like there's a less tacky way to do it.
Yeah, I think to answer your question, to me, I think there's a way to do it and it doesn't take away, because we're already suspending belief watching this anyway, right? We all know it's scripted and all that. You know, we ain't got to go into all that dumb shit, but we all know that's what we're doing. So we don't have to. We can suspend belief. So let's put the advertisements on the barricades, or like as you come into the just different stuff like that. It doesn't have to be. Because if you want it to look like UFC, then we just go ahead and have a real fight. Like if UFC ring is all decorated with promotions and all that stuff, just have a real fight. The shorts are decorated. If you're giving us real fighters, like real fight feel, then make it that way. To me, it shouldn't be that much in the ring. I get it though. Revenue streams is revenue streams. You got to sell every in 2025. Get the bag how you get it. I understand that, right. But it was just a lot. It was a lot to. Yeah. This was the first time we saw it this over the top. That's all. So we're still adjusting to it as consumers.
Fireball ladder, cash up suitcase.
Jesus, man,
crazy.
Yeah, it was, and all that was in like an hour.
Yeah,
yeah.
First hour. It's crazy.
I think I would like it the old way because when they should have pay-per-views back then, like the whole pay-per-view would be sponsored just like by one person, not one person, but like one company, whether it be Slim Jim, Snickers, whatever it was, whatever it would be. Mortal Oil, whatever. So I like it the old way. Again, like you said, nowadays we have like 9 logos in the ring, the fireball ladder, the Slim Jim table. It's like the ring is just full of logos now, just like that's a different thing. But anyway, yeah, all these logos just on, different things. Next thing you know, the table's going to have a, I don't know.
It's going to be Nick.
It's going to look a bit.
It was a sponsor table, wasn't it? Wasn't it a logo table? I thought it was.
It might be.
Look, I don't think it was a piece of equipment that didn't have a logo. They sold everything.
We won't be surprised.
Everything.
The tables at Money in the Bank, I don't think had the Slim Jim logo on it, but the night before on SmackDown.
it did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hey, all about the bottom line. But I think, like you said, Jeff, I think TKO was showing us who's the primary between the two companies is UFC.
Yep. And that's the scary part to me. I know we not to jump ahead. That's something we're gonna talk about a little bit later on. That's why Vince held on to this. I mean, say what you want about Vince. We're not, we all know he's a piece of shit. Like we get that. But Vince held on to this company for so long, doing this a certain kind of way because he did understand that wrestling was sports entertainment and not sports. When a sports company buys it, they're gonna put those type of sports dynamics into it. So it's an adjustment period for everyone, fans like us included, right? So we're having to adjust to a different way of viewing wrestling, and here we are, fireball ladders. All right.
I have a question about that, but I'm gonna hold on to it.
You sure?
Yes, it's about I think it's coming up.
Okay.
I'll remember.
Don't forget it. I want to hear it. Don't forget it. All right. Somebody, Rico brought it up already, but let's go ahead and go there. The Ron Killings of it all.
There we go. Yes.
Do we believe that this was actually that we listened to the crowd and brought him back, or do we think this was the plan the entire time, or were they that smart?
Can I please go first?
Go, please.
Go ahead.
This was not a work. It was not at all.
Okay.
Triple H was just lying out his ass when he talking about something. Yeah, enjoy the show. You enjoy the show. He was lying. This was not a work. There was no way that once he got released, the whole roster was like, "Oh, we miss you. Come back." X, Y, and Z. They didn't ride this hard for Dolph when he got released. They didn't ride this hard for Baron Corbin when he got released. They didn't ride this hard for who else? Braun Strowman for like the 50-11 time. They weren't riding hard for these people when they got released.
Okay. Keep going, bro. You good.
But yeah, like they was not going this hard for R-Truth. They weren't going this hard for everybody got released. Next thing you know, you're gonna tell me Carlito, he coming back, it was a piece of work? Absolutely not.
No, definitely not.
It was not. Exactly. They were not ride for nobody this hard except R-Truth when he got released. Or when they were going to renew his contract, whatever you want to say. But no, this was not a work. He lied. He was capping. And that's it.
Nick, what about you?
I agree with James with the cap. It was pure cap. The 1% high up percentile cap. Now, when he first came out, and the one thing I like about Instagram, you find out they got their family members on there, and they're gonna get to talking. And when his son was like, "Oh, this cap," nope. It's when the son said, "I was like, I agree, I agree."
Okay.
Said, then, and then when the contract came, I was like, "Congrats, Dad, on the contract." Who you fooling? Who you fooling? You can't fool the family. You can fool Jim Bob from across the street, but you can't fool the family. The family already know the business. So it's just one of them things, like, we know you capping, and you know it's a morale issue. So, hey, if you want a whole bunch of angry, upset men in the background, men and women in the background, behind the gorilla position, you might as well just go ahead and hire him back, because he's keeping that locker room together.
Andrew?
I agree with both James and Neek. It was not a work. And to be completely honest, I think that Triple H is mad that they had to bring him back.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe he might not necessarily be mad with R-Truth, but he's mad about the backlash. He's mad about the things that people are saying about him. He's mad about the assumptions. I don't want to make no assumptions or no character judgments, but it seems as if he is, and I think maybe to be in his position, like Vince, you kind of have to have this mentality, but it's kind of like he wants the show to be what he wants it to be, and not necessarily for the fans. And granted, there are times where fans ask for stuff and it just does not work, but I don't think this is one of those things. I don't think this is one of those cases. But like I say, I do think that he's upset that he got to share his toys, essentially. I think he's upset that he don't have full control like he wants to have.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my question was about R-Truth and his character or gimmick at this point, but I'm gonna save that because I think we might come back around to it in a minute anyways.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Don't forget it. Because I want to build on what you're saying.
Yes.
I do think Triple H is upset. Not upset that he had to bring him back. I think he also is upset that he had to release him. I think we're building on the last topic that's on the docket I sent y'all about where this is going. I do believe in real time, in real life, we are seeing a real deal power struggle. We're seeing Triple H versus TKO. TKO is the final boss. You know, Dana White. I forget the gentleman's name who's above everybody, right? All those people, and Triple H is boots on the ground, minus the song. It's like boots on the ground with WWE. He's right there every day. Yes, Andrew, he wants it to look a certain kind of way. TKO wants it to be entertainment, right? And R-Truth, all with being entertaining, going back to what I said about UFC losing money, making money. All right, if UFC is losing money, but this was the first one here, this was the first child. Now we have to cut cost on the money maker as it continues to make money. So we're going to cut costs there and funnel it into the one that's losing money, so we can build it up. There's no reason for WWE to be making cuts right now, unless you're trying to build something else up, because WWE is making hand over fist money, right? In everything. They just broke all type of financial records in Vegas, right? And they're going back to Vegas again because they saw how much money they made in Vegas for WrestleMania. So you're cutting all of this talent to have a smaller roster. You're cutting house shows to cut costs on that. You're basically creating WWE and UFC's likeness. And so R-Truth was a victim of that, but then the crowd spoke out, and then you had to make it right. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, I ain't gonna lie, I thought it was at work. I'm sorry, I thought this was all like just a part of the story, to be completely transparent. But when I started to look at how things are playing out, this is gonna be a fun 18 months. Like, we saw what Jonathan Coachman said about Triple H may be leaving in 18 months. This is 2025, 2026, the end of 2025, all 2026 is going to be fun, because the wrestling world is going to look like it's never looked before. If Vince ain't there, Trips might not be there. There's no big man anything in any place of power in the wrestling world. That's going to be strange. Rico, I know we lost you for a moment, but you go right ahead, bro.
What's the question? Do I think it's out of work?
Was this a part of the story with R-Truth, or did they just have to pivot?
I want to echo your sentiments, Jeff. I feel like this was a instance where TKO is like such a business. They're looking at pricing. They're looking at dollars. So they're looking at, hey, this talent is, I think he's like 50 something, and he's making X amount. And we all know R-Truth don't do a lot of segments. He don't do big matches. They're saying, does he warrant this type of money? And I believe Triple H is forced with the people releasing these guys. In their eyes, he didn't warrant that type of salary he was commanding. Yeah. And until the fans spoke up, showing how much they wanted him, they appreciated, maybe it was Triple H saying, hey, okay, this is they're showing you that they do want him. He is integral to the show. So that would lead to him probably coming back. They're saying Nick Khan had to step in. But I kind of hate how Triple H takes the blame for it. Like I saw in the press conference, he was like, it was all part of the show, and everyone just went up in flames saying it wasn't. I mean, to a degree, Saturday was part of the show. I mean, he was back on the contract. He didn't just go rogue and jump in and attack John Cena, like not being a talent. So I mean, that part was part of the show. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like, to your statement, it's like a power struggle. Yeah. It's TKO versus what Triple H wants to create and who he feel like is the talent he should have. So I feel like, I don't know. Maybe the work is Triple H versus TKO. Maybe.
Yeah. Edge, did we leave room for your question?
Kind of, sort of. This actually goes back to what you were saying about how we were going to have to change our perspective or change how we look at pro wrestling. Mm-hmm. And now, granted, R-Truth, it has come out that he asked to have Ron Killings be his name moving forward. Mm-hmm. So my question was, and I do think like he wanted this for himself, but my question is more so, do you think they were more receptive to bringing him back because they want that realistic UFC aspect to it? To like legitimize it, I guess, because when you really think about it, and I also think this is why we don't see the Wyatt Six all that often anymore. We don't have very many people doing like we'll never have another Undertaker type of gimmick.
Right.
Weird, like the Hurricane is not gonna work anymore. I don't think. Yeah. I'm trying to think like any other, like, just, I don't want to call it wacky, but I'm just saying like there's not any really room for somebody who's not like naturally funny. Like there's not room for
Nikki.
Yes, there's not room. Like there's not really room for an R-Truth type. Like it doesn't like they value that anymore, really, when it comes to like the product. Because R-Truth was the only one on the roster doing what he does. Like I said earlier, Solo Sikoa is funny, but he's not. He's still looked at as a legitimate wrestler, whereas R-Truth was not. Even though he's 53 years old and can move with the best of them still.
Yeah.
So like that's my question. Like, do y'all think that they were more receptive to him coming back because he wanted to be more serious, or?
I think number one, R-Truth is old school. Ron Killings, he's 53, right? So he knows, he's seen wrestling from a different perspective. Like that's the buzzword of the day. So he understands, like, not to use inside terms, but like living your character, living the gimmick, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have to be your character. So to kind of put a bow on what you said a moment ago about how the Y6 didn't work, they debut, and then the same week they post an Instagram photo of them at Waffle House. That's just dead at that point. It's over with.
Like, yeah, that's the whole, I'm getting at. Like,
the whole allure is over. Yeah.
Yes.
So with Killings, with Ron, I think this was a situation where, going back to business, he had all the leverage in the negotiation. So he got to make that decision because he knew they wanted him. So he's like, I want to be my name. So when I leave this time, I can go somewhere else and still have that cachet of not having to reintroduce people to Ron Killings. So that you call me R-Truth, you call me whatever you want, but the truth shall set me free as Ron Killings. Now I got the leverage. You know what I mean? So I don't know about the WWE being receptive is one thing, but they really didn't have any leverage. They had to be. They had to be receptive to him.
I agree.
Hey,
I just don't want
underdog.
other wrestlers to think that they could have this happening for them too, though. If they get
Please.
released.
Nah.
Again,
This don't happen.
it's
This
not
don't happen
happening.
often.
No.
Sometimes we talk about the releases. Sometimes they're right.
Again, we talked about the release. I don't know if you were here, Rico, but like I said, no, they didn't write this hard for Dolph Ziggler. He got released. They didn't write this hard for Baron Corbin. They just write this hard for a lot of people that got released.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So R-Truth was the only one that was like, I'm gonna miss you, come back, da da da. They wasn't going as hard for people except him. So
20 years, man. 20 years in that company.
He been there for
17. Well, how many years he been there? He been there for a while.
So, I have another question.
Ask away.
Do you want to know who else potentially is not commanding the salary that they may be earning, or who TKO might feel is being overpaid, allegedly?
Roman Reigns. I think I read that.
Yeah.
Hey, I seen that.
Do y'all think they would go up for Roman like that?
I don't know.
To renegotiate, I could see that. Letting him go, I don't see that.
Okay. I don't see them letting him go either. Renegotiate, that's most likely the best option for you.
I can see them probably trying to add more dates, like make him show up more.
Yeah. That'd be it for 15 mil. Yeah, you better be there every other day or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
but
go ahead, Renee. My bad.
I mean, if certain health things happen,
right.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, cancer. So, certain things might not feel right to him because, your body, I mean, cancer is, it's serious and, you got to get your body getting back and weights and doing all this stuff and all this traveling. Wear and tear a little bit for him. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It just has to be, you're going to negotiate. The health situation has to be right there with it too. So
I'm pretty sure he's going to negotiate in there in that contract or something. Though. If he does renegotiate, I'm pretty sure his dates and health is going to be number one factor in it.
Right.
So the question was, do we think that TKO will approach him with to renegotiate his contract, or will they approach with his contract is up? Like, is he?
What do y'all think will happen with that after seeing what just happened with R-Truth?
TKO has, I don't know how much UFC y'all watch, right?
Not a whole lot. I'm familiar with it though.
All right, cool. So most people that look like us are familiar with it, but don't watch a ton of it. But one thing I know about UFC and Dana White and that power circle is they don't let that trickle down the way boxing does, the way the WWE does. So these performers making the amount of money that they're making does not sit well with them, right? That's not how they do business. You know what I'm saying? So especially someone like Roman is there. Part-time is generous. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's seasonal at best. You know what I'm saying? Like, part-time is generous. So for him, it's like, they're gonna look at him like, hey, we need to figure this out. But the thing about it is going back to leverage. Roman can say, look at your ratings when I'm not there. He definitely moves the needle. Now you can jack up the prices of your merch and stuff and look at how well Las Vegas did, because yes, they did make money hand over fist. You can say that. But if you look at attendance on those two nights when Roman wasn't the key factor in the storyline, when the bloodline was not the main thing, they were struggling to sell out those 2 nights. We saw that. So you got to play nice with Roman, because if he leaves and goes full Hollywood, you're in trouble. It's just Cody and my dog CM Punk, and then that's it after that.
I got a
question.
I mean, like you said with UFC, like they known for being pocket watching.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimate pocket watching. So when it comes to Roman, if I'm looking at them and they looking at me and talking about taking a pay cut, I'm like, hold the hell up. Like, you ain't gonna cut everything, because bro, without me, I don't know how you gonna look. And plus, he's the one that held down the company the whole pandemic and after the pandemic. How you gonna tell him to take low? Like, if we get paid $15 million a year, right? Let's just say they're gonna cut it down to $900K. He gonna be looking at them like they crazy.
Mm.
Oh no, there's no.
I don't see that type of cut.
That's a wild.
But it's UFC though. It's UFC,
right?
That's a.
I can see like
that's what we saying. That's what me and Jeff saying.
Yeah,
okay.
That's true though.
Yes,
I've literally seen them. Like, hold on.
If John
I forgot
Jones
who the
was
fighter-
a boxer, if John Jones was a boxer, the UFC fighter John Jones, hell, if Conor McGregor was a boxer, he would be a billionaire if he was a boxer. You know what I'm saying? It's not even close. If not even close.
We
And
have
Jeff-
a list. We got a list of them folks that should have
Yeah.
been billionaires.
And that's what I was going to bring. That's what I was going to bring up. Because Jeff said, UFC and everything. I was thinking if Conor McGregor said he's going to fight in 2 weeks, he's going to want the maximum amount for him showing up to fight. We ain't seen Conor fight in some years, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
But
So
okay.
he's gonna want the big money. So for him to request that money, but if Roman requests it, they're gonna be like, well, you ain't really there like that.
Mhm.
We can't accommodate that. It's kind of like a smack in the face, to be honest.
So you brought up Conor, right?
Yeah.
In that, what if you want to call it a fight or whatever you want to call it, in that match he had against Floyd Mayweather, made more than he made in 10 fights prior to that. Just fighting, boxing Floyd Mayweather on one night. You see what I'm saying? Like, so the company, TKO is a company, is showing you this is the business model going forward. We are trimming costs, we're cutting down production values, we're changing the way this is presented, and this is how it's gonna look. And he is the lead in for UFC. Strange times, man. Anyway, Ron Killings, we got off subject. Cut his hair. He has a more serious role.
That was wild.
I think that was what Triple H was
Hey,
talking
that
about.
haircut was crazy.
That was
He
crazy.
cut that dread. I was like, oh nah, bro. You should make sure you had a lineup or something. Nah.
The super
That
cut
was
joint.
crazy.
Not the
He was the super
cut.
cut.
He was a super cut.
Dog, have y'all ever had to go to
Definitely.
Supercuts? Real shit. Sidebar. Andrew, this ain't got nothing to do with you. Have y'all ever had to go to like Supercuts before? Like as a black man?
Hell
Never.
no.
So I
Never.
walked in.
Exactly.
True
Hell
story.
no.
True story. I walked in Supercuts when I first went to college in Murfreesboro. I knew I ain't know the barbershops, and I'm saying really wasn't no black barbershops. I walked in Supercut.
Yeah.
And I was like, hell nah. It's so I think I went like a month. I let a dude, there's a random dude on the football team told me he could cut hair. So I did that instead of going to Supercut. Because it ain't for us, man. It's not for us.
Bro, I lived in Michigan for a few years, right? It's like right outside of Detroit, but I lived in a suburb called Livonia. And when I first moved there, if people that know from Detroit know, Livonia is old white people. That's all that live in there. It's old white people. So I'm trying to find a barbershop. Like you said, Rico, it's a month in. I got a board meeting to go to. I got to do a presentation. I look worse than I look right now. Like the hair everywhere. Like I'm like, I can't find a barbershop. I gotta go to Supercut.
I gotta go. It's crazy.
What's so crazy?
Ooh,
So
that's
where my
nasty
office
work.
was, Supercuts was right in the little shopping center where all the restaurants were for lunch. So they would take appointments, like quick 20-minute haircuts. So I go in and they got like the black section with like 1 or 2 suggestions for where you go to cut. I'm like, man, just give me the one. Just cut it down. Just give me the one. Man, I got that chair. I was so mad, dog. I would never do that again.
I'm so glad I never had that interaction.
I was like, cause you just point, you look up. They got it set up like a real barbershop, right? When you just look up, you're like, all right, I said, can you do that? I said, can you do that?
I said, we can.
And she said, yeah, I can do that. I can do
Yes,
that.
I can.
No.
You cannot.
Oh, man, I was in the pinch, man. What was I gonna do? I had to get a cut. I had a presentation. I had to go to like the meet and greet after. You know how you got to walk around, take the client to dinner and shit. I had to do all of the dog and pony show. I needed to cut bad, bro.
So give me the number one.
I said, just give me that right there. And she gave. I got up out the chair. I was so mad, bro. Like it was. I just said, I thank you so much. He said, well, can I get you an appointment? No. I'm fine. I'm fine.
She didn't hit you with the razor?
Man, listen. Not even the razor, bro. She didn't give me the razor. It was straight clip. One clip. Like, come on.
One blade.
One blade. She hit me with the one blade.
You gave the one guard boss.
Oh man,
Oh,
I'm
God.
glad I've been around niggas my
Ooh.
whole life and they never.
Ooh,
that is
God.
crazy.
I could not
Nah,
believe. I'm
bro.
sorry.
I can
I know
never.
that
Hey,
that took us off subject. My bad, but
I should have
that-
walked in just like I am now, bro. You can't go to Supercuts at all.
I had to get a cut. It was and to tell the truth, the full story. I was the only black person in my office, so there was nobody I can go to say, "Hey, who cut your hair?" You know what I'm saying?
Your own abilities.
Ooh.
You ain't trust your
Let's tell the whole story. The same person has cut my hair since I was 14. Like other than those few years I lived in Michigan, since I was 14, I've had the same barber. I don't have to say nothing.
But like you ain't watch him when he was working on you all them years. Like you ain't picked nothing up.
Nothing. I can if I'm in a pinch again, I can line myself up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I can get this all together. But like a taper with the fade and all that, I can't.
See, you ain't even need all of that. You could have just, I don't know. But you was young. You wasn't thinking. It's okay.
I was not. I was in a pain. I was panicking.
Oh,
I had to get a cut. I can't believe I would. Shout out to Supercuts, man. They
no,
they
what?
Hell no.
Don't shout out to them, man. I don't hear no love.
Hell no.
I mean,
That's worse than shutting out Benoit. You crazy, right?
We're not shutting out Supercuts. Hell no.
Absolutely.
Shit, we were talking about sponsorships a moment ago. They might want to sponsor.
I got
the Supercuts.
Supercuts.
Where you know Supercuts? No, it's the fact that Jeff went to the board and said, "Can you do that?"
I said, "Can you do that?" I pulled her right. I said, "Can you do that?" She said, "Yeah, I can do that." Then she brought the clip. I said, "Man,
that's the point. That's the whole
crazy.
thing. Going to the board saying, "Can you do that?" is crazy.
And his dude fade was bad. Like it wasn't like he had like a hard, like it wasn't a lot that he had going on with the fade. It was just a simple even flow. Like it was just an even Steven that we used to call it back in the day. And yeah, man,
okay, so
I
quick
don't
question
wear
after
hats
that.
like that, but I wore a hat.
I know
like
we
2
off
weeks.
topic. I know we off topic. Quick question after that. So
What
when
up,
you
though?
went to the meeting and everything, they said, "Hey, your cut looks nice."
But they ain't even notice. That's how bad it was. You can't even know. Like they
Didn't even notice it.
Crazy. You was
better
off not doing it all.
It got so bad. Like the real shit. It got so bad. Like I went up going to a restaurant or something, and I ended up stopping just a random black dude that worked there. Like, "Hey, bro, where do you get your haircut?"
God.
He had to show me. He's like, "Man, look, go here, blah 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 blah." And then I talked to the dude, and I'm lying. There was one black dude who worked there other than me. He worked in the mail room of all places. I ended up finding him. I said, "Hey man, where you get your haircut?" He didn't even get haircuts. He went to the damn beauty salon to get a haircut. So he was like, "Man, just go to the barbershop across the street from where I get my hair done." I said, "All right, bro, I'm gonna do that." And then I was good. Then I was good to go. But yeah, that's my finding a barber in Detroit story. Yeah, good times. Good time. That was bad. They didn't even say nothing. They didn't even peep my. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad they didn't because I wouldn't want to explain. I wouldn't want to have that jacket that I got my hair cut in Supercuts. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want that on my head. Anywho, let's move on and talk about my shortcomings with my haircut. Raw. Should WWE be concerned with Raw on Netflix and its performance?
No.
Has it been bad? I don't think so.
I want to know why you asked that question.
Yeah.
Up until this week, they had 2 consecutive weeks of the worst viewership since the first week.
Oh.
So up until Jey Uso versus Gunther, the last 2 weeks were the lowest viewership they've had since being on Netflix.
I'm gonna say no because for one, most people don't watch stuff live. I mean, it's with Netflix being a platform with not much live on it. I would say it's hard to quantify the viewership and say what's good or bad according to Netflix because people can watch it on their own time whenever they want to watch it. And I'm not sure if they just. I know a lot of it. I see what you're talking about. If they show the live numbers, but I don't know if I watch it Tuesday while I'm working, if there's something considered bad. Like as long as I'm watching it, I think that's what should matter. And I think they said like a 5-year deal. What 5 year for $1 billion? 10.
It was something. So, it might be 5. It might be 5. We can check. We can fact check that.
They got a while to go, so I don't think it's no cause for concern right now.
Okay. Neat.
So you said,
now go ahead, John.
So you said for the past 2 weeks the viewership's been low. This is not counting this past Monday main event,
I haven't
right?
seen the numbers for this week. No.
Okay, so we're talking about the past 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess I didn't see, I may have saw last week's, then the
See what I'm
week
saying?
before that, I didn't see it. But, like, what have, like, the matches been? I think they've all been Money in the Bank qualifier matches.
Pretty much.
And what have, like, the main events been? Or, like, what has been the storyline on Raw coming
But
up to, I
see,
guess, Money in the Bank?
I guess that's, to me, that's kind of answered, not answer your question, but it kind of answers the original question. Is like, watching on USA was just, to me, and maybe I'm making myself sound older than I am, but watching on USA Live was so much easier than watching on Netflix Live. Simply because if I only wanted to watch for 30 minutes or like to a commercial break, then I could just go over to Monday Night Football, or I can go over to the basketball game or the WNBA game, or whatever that's on TV that I want to watch. As I'm watching Monday Night Raw, I could do that and still, old school terms, channel surf. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm on Netflix. You on Netflix. Like once you put the TV on Netflix, you own Netflix at this point. You watching it. There's no real commercial breaks. I mean, there's a few ad breaks, but there's no real commercial breaks. So
Yeah.
it's just a different, again, like we talked about, but we kind of tying this all together. Being a wrestling fan is looking so much different over this time, and we're just having to adjust. But man, streaming only Netflix watching Raw has been a little difficult for me. I ain't gonna lie. Nick, what you got?
I really don't know, because you can't base the whole thing off just a couple of shows. I don't think they might do some compromising and try to figure out what the bottom line is going to be. But also, a lot of people don't have Netflix accounts like that. I think going to Netflix, you forgot that people have to afford Netflix, and Netflix people going up and up and up every week. So who wants to pay $35 just to watch what 20 what is it, an hour or in 30 minutes worth of wrestling? I don't know. I don't know. So I think they gotta wait and see. I think they'll round it out for a year and then make a decision what they're gonna need to do.
Andrew, you about to say something?
Yeah. I had not
Right.
actually thought about this at all, really, until we had this conversation. As far as viewership goes, I just want to say, I don't think you, like the rest of y'all have already said, I don't think you can base it off of just these 2 weeks. And then it's what, a 5 or 10-year deal, however long it is. We only 6 months in. So give it some time. And then also, too, you got to think about it. Like y'all have already said, it's on Netflix. Some people, they want to go back and forth. They want to watch football, basketball, whatever it is. So they might be choosing to watch that instead. And like Rico, maybe they watch it the next day while they're at work. I know me personally, I have to break my like, it's kind of like how you said, Jeff. Like, I got to break myself out of the habit of feeling like it's 8 o'clock. I need to be at home to watch Raw. I like going to the gym in the evenings. So like now, Raw is on Netflix. I could go be in the gym all night if I want to, and then I could come home and start it over from the beginning and watch it as fast or as slow as I want to, stop it in the middle and then finish it later. There's that. And then to Nick's point, outside of wrestling, I don't really use Netflix for much else. I've actually been thinking about getting rid of my Netflix account and just being the Buccaneer that I'm known for being. So, I think the viewership, I don't think it has anything to do with the product more so than like the method, if it even ends up really being an issue.
I like that. I like that. All right. Last topic before we get out of here, and we've kind of already touched on it before, but Triple H, TKO, The Rock, all the above, UFC. Do we see Triple H removed from his seat in the future, sometime in the near future? Let's say end of this year, by the end of 2026, is Triple H still head of creative in WWE?
I don't think so. Oh, go ahead, Andrew.
I don't know. I'm gasping. I have no clue.
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Because we know we've been watching Raw lately, and Triple H said, hey, we're doubling down. WrestleMania is going to be back in Vegas. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I remember The Rock coming out on a random SmackDown and said, we're going back to New Orleans. Well, it was WrestleMania, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we're going back to WrestleMania. We're going back to New Orleans for WrestleMania because it was around that time everybody was mad that Lil Wayne didn't get picked to perform at the Super Bowl. But anyway, it's around that time.
Yep.
But now Triple H said, hey, now we're going back to Vegas. I guess TKO, again, we talked about it earlier, TKO, they saw that money, like, hey, yeah, we're going back to Vegas.
Yeah.
So now it may be a little, I won't say a vendetta, but like it may be a little ego thing with The Rock.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, we're going, because he's on the board, of course, TKO board, of course. He's like, no, we're going to New Orleans. Triple H's like, now we're back to Vegas. They saw the numbers, whatever. And The Rock may have it out to get Triple H out of here so it could be more of, hey, what TKO wants / what The Rock wants. We talked about in the group chat. It's more, is it ego or pride thing? It could be both. And who will replace Triple H if that was to happen? So, it's kind of like a up in the air type of thing. But yeah, I do see Triple H getting out of here by end of next year.
I'm gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if he do, or I won't be surprised if he don't.
Okay.
To your point, James, I feel like Rock got to side with TKO. So I mean, whatever TKO he's doing, Rock, he had to be on board with the going to Vegas. So I don't think Triple H really had nothing to do with just announcing it. But if The Rock is feeling spiteful, who knows? I know he said the Ari dude, him and him, they're real close.
Yeah.
So I mean, who knows? 18 months, could he put it in his ear that somebody he knows could do what Triple H is doing better? I don't know. I mean, that would be my thing. Would WWE or TKO feel so confident that they could remove Triple H and continue going as if nothing has changed? I think that's what it'll boil down to. If they feel like they can, I could see him probably being out.
That's the scary part. What you got, Andrew? You about to say something?
My question would be like, would he leave on his own or would he really be forced out? Because I don't know, because you really have to think about Triple H, well, what we know about Triple H. Because like I said earlier, I don't want to make no character judgments. I don't want to make no assumptions. But if you kind of look at how he's maneuvered throughout his career, and you look at like the things he's doing now, does he seem like somebody who will push back against TKO? Or like, is the power struggle really between him and TKO, or is it really just him and The Rock? And then I have another question too, and I think maybe Jeff might know more about this, but is Vince McMahon still a majority stakeholder? Because I know he owns a lot of shares, but I don't know how much. So I'm wondering if the fact that he still owns a large portion, I'm wondering how much of that plays into what is all happening now.
That's a good question.
Also, to go back to what we were saying earlier, a lot of people were saying Vince McMahon would not have let R-Truth go. So,
yeah,
I just want to throw that out there because that also feeds into why I'm asking that question. This is something to think about.
So, to answer your Vince question, he owns a percentage of TKO as a whole.
Ooh, okay.
To oust him, to circumvent his ownership of WWE, they gave him a small portion of ownership in the whole umbrella company.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
So, okay. That changes things. Not changes things. That
Could this be the power struggle? Like, it's Triple H versus TKO, but it's really Triple H versus Vince by proxy? Could that be it? Who knows?
Or I think it's Triple H and Stephanie and Vince versus the rest.
TKO.
Oh, yeah.
I can see that.
Here's why I say that. I think we know. I ain't gonna say we know. I think if we were gambling, I would bet Vince that second time he was out, that was because he had to go. Like somebody pulled him to the side and said, "Hey, bro, nah, it's too hot out here. You got to go." Like this was like when he left and then he came. Remember he left. Stephanie was on board and then he comes back. The second time, that time right there was like, "Nah, bro, it's too hot. It's too hot out here. You gotta go." He didn't want to leave this, and I know. Ain't gonna say I know, but I feel like he's looking at the product now, saying, "This isn't what I built," and that's okay. You know what I mean? Because now you don't own the majority of it anymore, so you can't. There's nothing you can do about it. But I do think Triple H is, to kind of speak to what you said a moment ago, Andrew, about the moves that he made back, previously. Those like Triple H plays the corporate game. I think that's what I think is what you were leaning in. Like he seemed like a person who values relationships and he's building those relationships with people who matter, right? But I do think he's also someone
way
who
to put it.
Well, you said he's ass.
It's a matter of perspective. That's the nice way to say it. Yeah.
Like he's playing that corporate game like better than most people will.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, that's a given, right? He married the boss's daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like you got to have some ambition to to go after the boss's daughter. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that will stop him from butting heads with TKO though, because I think because he did all of that, he feels like he was a part of building this brand up to where it is, taking it from where it was. Not saying it was in the pits, but taking it where it was to where it is right now, the cash cow that it is. He feels like he had a heavy hand in doing so, and he wants to hold on to that. Okay. So I think he will push back a little bit. Yeah. Good talk, y'all.
Yeah.
It's all right. It's all right. This is fun. Before we get out of here, we're not gonna make you do it every show. Oh, Sonny James.
Oh, no, I can't do that. No, it has to be once a month now.
Okay. Do you have one? You haven't been here in a couple of weeks. Do you have a?
I do.
You do have one. Okay.
Yes.
The floor is yours, sir. Let's go. This is the Sonny James, the negative one, Hall of Fame. Floor is yours.
This time, this inductee is no other than the Big Boss Man.
Oh, he was on that casket? That is crazy.
Big Boss Man took the beef too far.
Oh, man.
This is the man you have to really unalive to end the beef. Let's talk about it.
Go ahead.
Big Boss Man. Okay, so he got into it with the last inductee, Al Snow.
Okay.
At this time, Al Snow stopped talking to the mannequin head. He carried around a Chihuahua. I'm not sure if y'all remember that.
I do.
He carried around a Chihuahua. He got into it, Boss Man. Boss Man kidnapped the Chihuahua for 2 weeks. One Raw, he called up Al Snow, like, hey, look, man, I was tripping. Let's squash this beef. Come to my hotel room. I'll give you your dog back. Al Snow shows up. And Boss Man said, I got some chili for you, something. Whatever, I forgot what the food was.
Cooked them.
But Al Snow started eating. Al Snow's killing this food. And all of a sudden, he's like, yeah, you like that? Well, that's your dog. Al Snow started crying. Boss Man beat him up, left him in the hotel room.
Crazy.
And then we're gonna get to the most famous one, Big Boss Man moments. He got into it with the Big Show. Big Show didn't show up one Monday for Raw because his dad passed away. Boss Man didn't care about none of that.
None of that.
Pulled up to the funeral, started talking crazy. Hell family, by the way, but he beat up Big Show in front of his family, hooked the chain up to his truck and the casket, and started driving off. Big Show jumps on the casket like, Father, no, I'm sorry, and falls off, and Boss Man hit the dash on him. Took off with the casket. I don't know why I didn't have him in there sooner in the Hall of Fame, but yeah, he's in there. Just go off of those actions alone. Yeah, Big Boss Man.
One out.
You leave him. You leave him one. Oh wait, no,
you leave him one out.
Which one?
The crazy shit.
Which
when they
one?
hung that man.
Yeah, the hung.
Oh, when they hung Big Boss Man, I forgot. I mean, he was a victim in there. I mean, I ain't gonna count that. No, I ain't counting that. He was a victim. He ain't hang nobody. He got hung. No, I ain't counting that one. Yeah, I ain't counting that one. Nah.
That's a crazy name, Big Boss Man. That's crazy. It's crazy.
But yeah, Big Boss Man, he's in there.
They hung him and then had another match after that. Like you just kill a man in the ring, dog.
Yeah, I told you, he really liked that. He really liked that.
That's wild.
So yeah, Boss Man, welcome.
That man, he fed Al Snow his dog.
I told you, bro. Look, he took the beat too far.
Attitude era.
Unhinged era.
Maybe that's where Tyler Perry got the inspiration from.
Bruh. Let's not.
You know what?
I don't have it in me. I don't.
TP Studios, sir.
God.
God bless him. He's doing his accomplishments are astounding. But I'm not gonna do it. I just can't. I just can't. On that note, thank you for listening. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, man, we now 5. It's now 5 of us. You know, we here. This is the official Yeah. Let us know how you feel about Rico Benoit, though. Like the name. Not Rico himself, just the name. We're going to figure out if we're going to run with that or not. We're going to make sure, you know what I'm saying? We can push that. We know the negative one is going to be the negative one. That's who he is. Nick the Giant is Nick, you know, and the EST of the library is going to be who she is.
Hey, so are we going to do anything anybody got to say, or are we not doing that?
In what?
Anything anybody got to say?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there, bro. I'm gonna land the plane, brother. You know, I'm gonna land the plane, brother. You don't gotta worry about that. Make sure. Let's fuck it. Before you get out of here, does anybody have anything to say before we get out of here?
All right. Let me say something.
Here we go.
I'm not familiar. Y'all are on Twitter with the internet wrestling community. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, y'all make me ashamed to be a wrestling fan. They go way too deep. They care too much. One day I hopped on the thread. I seen where a dude has sent emails to a guy's boss because he don't like AEW. I was like, what is this, man? How do y'all get this serious? So to everybody that considers them part of the internet wrestling community, I need y'all to find other hobbies and do something else with your life.
Touch grass, basically.
Like you can be a part of it, but brother, sister, you gotta get some sunlight out there. Like get some sun, go get some sunlight.
Do something.
That's crazy. You know, whatever you into, find that person that you're into. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you into, find that person. Like, good God Almighty.
Yeah,
James. Sandcastle or something.
Yeah, the sandcastle. Nick, you got something?
I'll hold off.
Oh shit! All right,
I'll let everybody else go first.
Andrea.
Okay.
You got something to say for the people before we get out of here?
I do. 5 letters, 1 word. Sir. Your temporary fairy tale is over. My legacy lives forever.
Shout out to Gunther. That was a good match. Shout out to Gunther.
That's the clip. That's
I wish something would have happened, but we'll talk about that.
Oh well.
I liked it. I liked that was a shock too. Didn't nobody expect it neither. I seen everybody just like Jay gonna win. Why they doing this Monday? Yeah. I liked it. That.
Yep. Yeah. And to my friend Kale, he probably not gonna hear this. Maybe not immediately. But Gunther is not a transitional champion. They're gonna let him cook this time. I hope.
Okay.
I hope. But yeah, that's it for me.
Cook with that Goldberg match, Andrea.
Hell no. She put that evil in the air. She put that evil in the air.
SummerSlam, Gunther, Goldberg, New York City. You better believe that shit.
Nick better run out of Willa anyway.
You better believe that.
No.
That is the main event of night 1 of SummerSlam. Gunther, Goldberg, world title.
Keep that man away.
Go ahead, James.
I can see it at Saturday night main event in Atlanta though, Jill.
You cooking?
Give it that.
You cooking?
Give it that.
You think Goldberg ego will take that?
Last match in Atlanta and Saturday night main event, that could work.
From his people, from his family.
No, true.
Just to take the L. Okay.
Yeah.
It better be a quick joint too, man. It need to be a squash too, man. Like Goldberg joints.
As soon as Goldberg get in the ring, Gunther just need to just right around and just swing him around like how Lashley used to do niggas. I call him as soon as he run up and this snap.
Hey, am I the only one to notice? Am I the only one to notice Jay stop spamming the super kick and start spamming the sleeper hold?
Yeah, that's his go-to now. Super kick. He heard us. He heard the over/under bets we had on the super kicks and started going with the sleeper hold.
He's like, nah, they got me messed up.
They think they know me. He said they think they know what I'm going to do.
They got the moon said. You got to change it.
He heard that shit. He heard it.
Right.
I'm only here for the Goldberg entrance anyway, though. He need to do the whole full headbutt, make himself bleed, all the above, and then come out to the ring.
Long entrance, Jeff. One too many match.
I mean, good 5 with the security guards and everything. I need the full WCW entrance.
Yeah, full entrance.
Yeah,
quick squash after that.
Yeah, that's it though. No real match though. We don't need that. Yeah. James, what you got before we get out of here?
What I'm gonna say is, wrestling themes in the gym go hard.
They do.
I'll be leg pressing, but when that Gunther comes on, all of a sudden, like my power level go over 9,000, I'm leg pressing a Honda Accord. That's all I want to say.
So it's the Gunther
Gunther?
thing.
Really?
Okay.
That thing go hard. What you talking about?
You know what? You need Firebirds. That's what you need. Old school CM Punk. You need Firebirds. That's the only one you need.
Nah.
Put that shit on repeat. You get that Honda. You get a Ford Explorer up. He's on the leg. What you got for the people, man?
I've always said on this podcast about my work policies and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always said this in my head because I worked at FedEx, aka this whole world over there. These work relationships y'all be having, stop.
What's done happened now?
Make a long story short, the work wife and the baby mama got the jacket.
At work?
No, not at work.
Okay.
But like up the street at the corner store.
The work wife.
Not on
So
the clock.
the baby mama
Not on the
found out
clock.
about the work wife.
How does that happen, Nick? How does those two find out about each other?
Oh, I know how that happened.
It's story time.
Work wife was getting a little
Look,
too.
I know.
comfortable.
No. I know only half of the story. I don't know the baby mama part. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I know the work wife's part of it is because she wished him a happy birthday.
On social media or on his phone?
On social media.
We ain't doing this. Nah.
And the wife
on Facebook.
And the baby mama did some digging.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Too many likes.
She has where she works at on her Facebook page.
Yeah.
You make that adding up.
Yeah.
Nobody else in the job wished him a happy birthday.
Wow.
I didn't wish him a happy birthday. Like, cause I see him, I'm like, man, because I know he's gonna do something stupid. So I'm like, all right, cool. I look, and for what she told me, she found out through Facebook. Found out they worked the same shift. He had the baby mama car, like on some Jody from Baby Boys type stuff.
Damn, bro.
So,
do he live with the baby mama?
You know he do.
Real nigga activities.
Probably
with the
so.
baby mama.
Hey, Nick, does this involve the
yeah,
YN?
The YN is different. Okay. The YN different. That's my dog.
So he lived with the baby mama, driving her car to work, and the work wife told him happy birthday on the social media.
Yeah, she added it up, everything. Also, according to the work wife, found out through some text messages.
Of course.
But it's not the regular text message. She found out they got a WhatsApp and they were talking to each other.
What?
That nigga thought he was sneaky.
Hey, man,
that nigga thought he was sneaky.
Listen, let's go ahead and get out of here. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for watching.
Yeah, we need the story, bro.
Hey, look, people, listen to this episode. Listen. I got enough stories to tell you.
Listen.
Oh, man.
Listen to me.
I got some stories. If you want to know some crazy stories when I'm just minding my business and all of a sudden they just pop in my lap.
That work wife, work husband shit, y'all better relax.
It'll get you popped.
Relax.
Popped.
Get you beat up at the
bodega.
The bodega.
Wild.
Dog. Yo. But the crazy thing was
we're still going. Okay.
The gas station owned by some Indian dudes. They didn't know what they.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Was
for
you
listening.
there? Was you there, bro?
Yes, I was there because I heard about it.
You know he was there. That's why I didn't want to say nothing. I knew he was there. That shit was there. He fooled about it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
I'm in the car scoping.
We're wrapping up. We're going home. We're all right. And most importantly, please stop throwing chairs. Peace.
Don't free R. Kelly.
What the fuck?